What's up, guys? My name's Doofus Mcdooface, and this is a brand new series where I'm going to talk about good combos in Legion TD2 that can be used in Ranked or Classic. And today we're starting with none other than Gates. These are Soul Gates and Hell Gates, and they're one of my few favorite spawner builds. What does that mean? A spawner build continues to put out units as the wave goes on. If you've never seen how a gate works, it will spawn a tank, and then it generates mana, right? And then it will spawn a ranged, and then it will spawn a tank, and it does this until the health is all gone. Gates as themselves are pretty useful, you know? They are natural, right? The melee tank is impact, but it's probably better known for the magic damage from the ranged, which is why it's so bad on wave 14. But Gates is themselves pretty solid. Nothing wrong with that unit. But we're talking about combos today. And there's quite a few combos you can do with Gates. The best one is probably Ocean Templar. Ocean Templar Gates is with a Grarl. And with a Grarl, the Gates never die, or take a much longer time to die. Because as I said, when they are spawning things, they're losing HP. So once they lose that HP, with Ocean Templar, they're continually gaining HP. The Gate is, right? And the creeps themselves are also. So something like this, you'll see it's going to spawn, and it's already starting to heal. So you can get more spawns out with a Ocean Templar. And that is not even to pay attention to that the actual spawn itself also has the regen. This is probably my favorite combo with Gates, just because you can have endless Gates, right? Ocean Templar Gates are endless Gates. You're on like wave 21, right? If we went all the way to wave 21, it's epic, you know? And everything's like, ooh, everybody's all spooked out. And on those waves, you know, it turns into a king race. So if you just had a full set of Ocean Templar Gates on wave 21, let's make them Hell Gates, you know, just so we potentially hold, right? This is gonna make a wave really long, which is super useful in a king race. Now, what is going on here is I'm leaking, right? The reason I'm leaking is you need tanks with Gates. A lot of people don't understand that you do need tanks with Gates. But I still don't think that takes away from the fact that Ocean Templar Gates are my favorite. The next set of Gates you have, and let me just say, you can pair all of these together for what I call God Gates, but we'll get to that later. All right. The next set that I would talk about is going to be White Mane Gates. White Mane Gates is with the Antler, and it's going to give immense damage reduction to your Gates. Antler right here. We would sell that. Antler is going to give damage reduction to all the units on the aura. So now these Gates are going to take less damage, right? So in this circumstance, the Gates turn more into tanks as opposed to damage. Like I feel like with the Ocean Templar, they're a little slightly more damage and a little bit less tanky, whereas White Mane is going to have that more tankiness, right? Unit has bonus damage reduction right there. So they're just going to take less damage, right? I mean, and I do believe they actually take less health to spawn also due to the damage reduction, as confirmed by it not being a solid number there. But these are really good, right? These are really good. The thing with antlers is you can just have Gates with the antlers, and then you could have White Mane Aura with the antlers. Another great combo. I mean, we're just kind of focusing on gates here, but I do see APS. You know, APS is another one of those potentials that you could add on with gates. I naturally stay away from APS, right? Especially with the gates. But here you'd start to have two god gates. Like these two right here are going to spawn damage reduction plus attack speed, guys. Right? They're going to have the attack speed as well as the damage reduction, which is pretty cool. But if I was going to rank them, I would have APS as my least favorite of the auras and combinations. And then the other combination we have is going to be Disciple for the Star Caller gates. So this is going to cause the gates to spawn faster. These gates will come out much faster. So if you see they're generating a little bit more mana. Bam, spawned. Those haven't spawned. Over a period of wave, you might get a full set of spawns in front of the next set because Starcaller increases mana regeneration. So you just get out those gates a lot faster. But if we're just talking about gates, they are good. If we're talking about gate combos, I think my favorite is still probably Ocean Templar. Then I would go for White Mane. Then I would go for Starcaller. Then I would go for APS. That is for auras, okay? But you're thinking, Doofus Mcdooface, you're forgetting one of them. No, I'm not, because Tree of Life is not an aura. Tree of Life is an affix. So if you did not know, there's something called a Trent, right? And a Trent put on a unit gives it something called Tree of Life, right? If you choose that one. There's two options, but Tree of Life right here. Tree of Life. We'll do it on this. This is a triple buffed gate right there. All right, this triple buffed gate right here is going to have health regeneration. So this does exactly what we talked about earlier as the Ocean Templar, except just on one unit, right? Just on one unit. Grants 4.75% missing health regeneration to the unit. So with Tree of Life, it's almost impossible for the gate to die, right? The Tree of Life will heal it as the spawns come out, right? Which is pretty awesome, right? Tree of Life can be a really, really cool unit. But yeah, so that gate, this gate that's spawning, this is pretty close to a god gate, right? This is pretty close to a god gate. And then I'll show you an in-game gate, what it could look like too. Another amazing things about gates, not only are they spawners, not only can you give it all these different auras, there's also something called Legion spells, right? There's so many Legion spells that could make the gates even better, right? You could go Protector on a gate. You could go, I guess you could get Battle Scars on it. It's kind of tough. You could go for Hero. Hero is just amazing with the gates. You have Magician for gates. You have Vamp for gates. So there's many combinations for gates that you could get away with. But that's going to be it for the sandbox demonstration. And I want to show you what an actual game looked like where gates absolutely spanked me. Where a gate build held on Wave 21. Shaman, Witch, Mole, Robo. And you will see what some Ocean Templar gates look like. Oh, this is wave 25 because I've done so many runs. So this actually might leak, but this will still show you the amazing part of gates. And yes, you can put King Claws if you're going for those Ocean Templar, right? You don't have to go just Ocean Templar. You can go for this as well. But this player also had Magician. They had Magician on their gates, as well as Ocean Templar, which was pretty darn impressive. And it won them the game. So as you can see, it just continually is spawning. The Magician ones come out a little bit quicker, right? Spawning, and the gates are just endless, right? These gates are endless. He can cover his teammate. He can hold a big send. They finally go down. They finally go down. Oh, and look, there's a Pilgrim. All right. You could also do Pilgrim or Sea Dragons on this as well. So one of my favorite units, Gates. Just want to show you guys some of these combos. If you do want more combo videos, let me know. There's so many different ways to use Gates. As I've described, I mean, I didn't even talk, you could Dark Mage, right? Dark Mage, it's still a tier 6 with the Gates. Yeah, there's healers with the Desert Pilgrim, the Sea Dragon. Those are going to be the main things. And then it's just sort of deciding, do you want Gates as your damage? Do you want Gates as your tanks? Do you want the Gates as sort of 50-50? Right? And with any of those combos you go with, if you have the auras, right? If you have the antlers, you sort of have the tankiness of the antlers and the white mane. If you go with the Ocean Templar, you're just trying to spam them out, spam them out. If you're going with Disciple, you have some damage with the Disciples, so that's pretty cool. APS, I haven't played APS that much, so I'm not going to give you too much on that. But I mean, if they're attacking faster, they're attacking faster, right? It's got to be useful. But I love Gates. Beware of witches, and beware of the new pack leader, because pack leader is going to try to make the wave end quicker, whereas with Gates, you want the waves to sort of last longer so that you get maximum spawns out. But I hope this has been informational for you. I hope you guys play Gates too. I love playing Gates. And maybe next time, if you guys want it, I can talk about the next spawner, one of my favorites, with some combos, Grab Warlock. But until then, see you guys next time.